So this video I'm going to cover off what you need to set up to start tracking visitors to your website. Now my website is a WordPress based site. I'm logged onto it. I'll show you how to log on in a second, but we can see here at the top the WordPress logo. I'm actually hosting my site on SiteGround. They have got a WordPress hosting here, so you don't need to worry about setting up WordPress and all the databases, and they're quite reasonable, $3.95 a month for for most people. Small websites, that service is fine. Although for the next one, it's only €8 for kind of businesses. Now, when you set this up, you get the WordPress log on and all of that. So now let's go to my website. Now I've actually created some content. I'll talk about themes in a second. I've added some stuff here. I'm using a particular theme, which we'll come to in a minute. Now to log on to your site, I'm not covering off registering domain names and setting up DNS. We might do a further video on that, but I have my domain name set up. And to get into the WordPress side, if you just put in / wp-admin, so that's the WordPress admin console. If you have it logged on, it'll ask you for username and password, and this is the WordPress backend. So a couple of things here, a couple of plugins that I recommend that you install, and also just talk about themes. So the theme is the overall look and design of your website. Now I'm not also going to cover why you should have a website. My own reasons is as a place for my blog, and it's also somewhere for me to test WordPress stuff because I use it as part of my job. And once I have decent levels of traffic, I plan to set up advertising on it through the Google advertising. But for the moment, it's just a blog. Got some posts, and I'm using a particular theme. So there's thousands of them out there, but let's take a look at these. So if you go to appearance, go to themes. So the one I'm using here is this Serif Lite. I tried a few others: Morning Time, Responsive Boat, Spacious 2013, Customizer. Simply click on Add Theme. It gives you a preview just like this here. You pick one. I'd suggest a responsive design. What I mean by that, it's mobile friendly. You scroll, it kind of does the things as you scroll around, so it's actually quite a nice theme, this Serif Lite. So that's my theme. So you gotta pick your theme. Once you pick your theme, you go to customize. Pretty much like a wizard, you start from kind of top down. So you give your site an identity. I've called mine a cycling and technical blog, a tagline. You give it an icon. Now, if you're looking for an icon, a good tip is go to Google and do Creative Commons search. Click the first one here, search the creativecommons.org. I find the Google Images one here is good. And if you're looking for an image, because you got to be careful, don't use images that are copyrighted. You may even have to give some images are free, but you got to attribute the creator of them. So just be really careful picking images. If you can, create your own. You mightn't have the tools or the skills to do that. If you don't, go to Creative Commons search. And what it means is these are images where you're allowed to use them for use on a website. So whatever your theme is, let's say it's motor repair, you might put in motor. So you see here, labeled for reuse with modification, labeled for reuse, labeled for non-commercial. Reuse. What it means with modification, you make changes. So you might choose to use, I don't know, that green motorbike there as your site icon. So I picked a bicycle here. That's site identity. Yeah, you work through each of these here. General options. If you want, don't bother with any of that. Socials. Here's my Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. So as you can see, it's kind of wizard. Just work through each one and set up. What this does is sets up pretty much your homepage. So all these things here set up your homepage. So I've actually completed that already. Now that's one part to setting up your site on WordPress. The second part is what are called plugins. And this is where it gets interesting. You can really start to customize things. There are a number of plugins that you need. Now, your team may install some plugins. I think the Super Cache was installed. Actually, it's not activated. May set that up later. But a couple I recommend that you add. The number one is Yoast Seo. So really would recommend you install this. So the idea of the SEO plugin is that when you're creating content, it helps you to set it up that it's search engine friendly, because you're going to have a fantastic blog post, for example. But if you don't create it and set it up the correct way, you don't use images correctly, you don't use titles, it'll just get lost with the billions of pages on the web. So you got to make sure your content is set up that search engines can find it. And to do that, you need but you don't have to, but it's really hard without it. You use an SEO plugin, and my choice is the Yoast Seo. Other ones I'd recommend is there's a plugin called Duplicate Post. It's very handy. Basically, if you write a blog post and you want to write a different one, you can duplicate your content. Bad idea duplicating without changes. So you duplicate, make changes, and save it as a new post. But it just saves you setting up the whole layout again and all that stuff. So it's pretty good. So definitely take a look at that one. Pirate Forms actually came with it was installed as part of the plugin. So were most of these actually that were installed as part of the plugin. I think Pirate Forms overrode this contact form one here. Actually, just curious about the Super Cache. Should be, yeah, it's activated. Just don't mean to cover this off. Update status. Might take a look at that later on. Read more about the cache. I don't do. I haven't got major content yet, so okay. I definitely need to review this in a second. I mean, WordPress is great. It shows you different things. So it says it's disabled again. So actually, I'm just going to deactivate that for the moment. The Yoast Seo, just go to settings here. It's probably the number one plugin that you should install on your WordPress site. Before you do anything, make sure you have it set up. Some Webmasters 2 stuff here. Security, general. So not much here. It's actually in the when you create posts that this really comes into its own. One thing though, just going to copy now, is what's known as the XML sitemap. Now this is something we need for Google. We need the XML sitemap. So there's a button here where you can find it. So I'm just going to copy this link. Okay. Any other tips in here? Search Console. Don't think there's much else on the Yoast Seo. I said it is the number one thing to install. Maybe some tweaking in here, which I might cover off on a titles and metas. I may cover this off on a separate one. So one of the things I'd actually switch off here, tags. I'm actually going to switch off tags. I don't use them anyways, so I'm just going to switch them off. Google don't really like tags anymore in blog posts. Something I will cover in a separate one. Better to use categories, so I'm just going to switch off the tags there. So set it to no index, no follow. No index basically tells the search engine, do not index this page. And no follow means when the search spider comes to your website, it won't follow the page, so it won't look at the page and follow any links in it. So I'm just going to leave them, just set that to no index follow, save changes. So that's SEO. Now, look, don't worry about tweaking it. Main thing is get it installed and don't worry about it. I just copied the XML sitemap. So what have I done now? I've got my site, I've got WordPress installed, I've got some plugins, I've picked a theme. I don't have any content yet. And I got my XML sitemap. So what I want to do now is, again, you can go into Google and just do a search for Search Console. It used to be called Webmaster Tools, right? But they've now called it Search Console. In fact, the URL still says Webmaster Tools, but the official name of it is Search Console. Now, I've already added my site in here. But to add a new one, you basically go to add a property. You put in the URL of your site. It then goes through an authentication stage where you either copy a file onto the website, you put a particular piece of code into the page headers, do whatever. Again, it's, there's lots of guides out here on how to do this, but you gotta authenticate, because obviously I can't add random websites in here and take a look at their search history and all that sort of stuff. So you have to authenticate with Google that you actually own this property being a website. So I put in your website here. It does give you the instructions, gives you links, gives you everything you need to add a property. And once it authenticates, will appear here on the list. So I can now go into my website. So before I do anything, I need to select, it's been a while since I actually added it in here. Go to the sitemaps here under crawl. And you go add test the sitemap. So paste in the link there now, just delete some of this here. So in my case, it's delhi.net/sitemap index.xml. And click submit sitemap. Okay, so I've done it before, it's no big deal. You can do it again. Just press refresh there. And it's been submitted, processed today. Well, it's pending because I've just submitted it. It won't happen immediately. I mean, it goes into a queue. Now, I have submitted this previously, and it has found some pages, some images, and that's all fine. Check for any errors. No index errors or sitemap errors, so that's good. So this in a way tells Google that you've got a website and that there's stuff there that you want Google to see. So that's important. That's a step you must do to basically let Google know you've got a website up and running. Okay, so the next stage is, this will inform Google about your site and publish content. People will come to your site, but how can you track who is accessing your website? Now, to do that, you go to a separate Google tool called Google Analytics. So to do that, we go into our Google search again and just type in Google. Now, I keep talking about Google. I mean, there are other search engines, obviously, Bing and Yahoo and all the rest, but really, at the end of the day, get Google set up first, make sure that's all working, make sure you're getting traffic, and then you can go into Bing, Webmaster Tools, and the rest. So don't worry about other search engines for the moment. Google dominates, so be sure if your website is working with Google. So to set up Google Analytics, just go to the link here, google.com/analytics/web, just search for it. And you go in here to the admin section first, and in the property here, you basically, sorry if I just put into my own account. Under the property, an account being, in my case, who am I logged on here is, so you can create a new account. I created one for myself. It's just a place where you can put a collection of websites. So just create one account. But the most important one is the property. So for each website, you create a property. So you just create a new property and give it the name of the website. So in my case, delhi.net. And once you create your property, then we've got to link this now to the website. I actually can't remember. There may be an authentication thing to be done as well, although I don't think so. But what we need is we need to go in here to tracking info, and we need to go to the tracking code. So this might look scary, but it's not, okay? we got a piece of code here. So if I copy this, and what it says here is it says, to get the benefits of universal analytics for this property, copy paste this code into every web page you want to track. Now, if you were to do every single web page, this would be an absolute pain. But just copy the code. And what we can do in with our WordPress is that we go into the appearance and then go into editor. Now, what you're looking for here on the right hand side, these are all PHP files and stuff, but not things I go near that often myself, to be honest. But there are things you can tweak in here, like doing the Google Analytics thing. And what we do is, if we click here on header, we get this scary looking thing. Now what we're looking out for here is this piece of text here, which is kind of open bracket, head, close bracket, or less than sign and greater than sign with the word head. Now we need to find that. Just read through. I know it's all gobbledygook, but just read through it to find that piece of code. This is where our head starts. Our head being the head of a page, the top of a page. And we scroll down here. We don't want to make don't make any changes here. You could screw up your website, but go down to where you see it again, but with a slash. And that means where the head ends. So anything in between the head and this close head is stuff that will appear, or that gets included on the head of every page. So here is my Google Analytics tracking. I've already added it in here, so I could just delete it and just paste it there again, and just make sure the syntax, so you open script, close script, and the code is there, and update file, and that's it. That's okay. Google tells you need to update every page, but by adding it to the head, okay, in this header.php, it actually, every page on your website it will appear on. And how you can confirm it is actually quite straightforward. So this is your tracking code here. And if you copy it, okay, go to any page, could be your home page. What I'm going to do is go to a blog post. Okay. And if I right click and go view page source, and I get the actual, HTML content of the page. So I'm not going to read through all this. No matter what browser, I think this works with most browsers, you hold down Control and press F, you open up this Find dialog box, and if you paste in the code, okay, there it is there. So that on that blog post I just opened, my Google Analytics tracking is there, and that's perfect. That's exactly what I want to see. So that's a quick way to test it. And if you ever have issues with Google Analytics, first thing to do is go to your website, load a page, view the source, and see can you find your tracking ID on every page. And also to confirm it's working, you can go into Google Analytics here and go to Home, select your website, and they have a feature in here now. It's been added in the last 12 months, I think, maybe a bit longer. You've got real time, you've got overview. It should say, we got one visitor online at the moment in Dublin. My ISP is based in Dublin. There's the active page, which is exactly what I've done. I'm on the that couch to 10K page. So Google Analytics is working. That's exactly what I want to see. So now I've got some data being captured. So if I publish information on my site, I'll be able to go back and see, did anybody actually read it? Where were they from? What countries? Things like ages and things, lots of data. Show you where some of these metrics are. There's two places you need to look. In Search Console, if you go to Search Traffic, Search Analytics. Okay, this is cool. Now this won't work. So if you enable this today and you go in, you're not going to get any data. You need to leave this running for probably, I would say, 3 to 4 weeks before you see any sort of meaningful data. Now by default it shows the number of clicks. Now one thing I do here is I change date here to, let's view the last 28 days. So I set up this website about 28 days ago. So it's a very new website, and that's why I'm using it in this video. I'm not looking at a website that's been running here for years. This is a brand new website. I've published about 5 blog posts. So this is showing us clicks. Now that what it's telling me here, and this is good, is that people have searched for things and they've clicked on it, and mostly to do with this blog post I did on Zwift and these actual search terms people are using. But the more interesting one, and the one you kind of, it goes to show that you're off to a reasonable start with Google, is to click on impressions. Okay. Now let's just look at this over. Let's go for 90 days because we can see when the website was set up. So what is this telling us? Well, this is last month when I set up the website. There was no impressions. Basically, the site doesn't exist. An impression is where, let me just explain what an impression is. If I go into Google, okay, and I might search for, I know this one probably will come up as Seo in Sunto, Zwift, USB. I think my post should come up on that one. May not be on page 1. Well, if I just put in site DIY.net. Okay, so I know I forced it to be in the search results, but here is my website. My blog article is appearing in search results. So this is what's known as an impression. Okay, so your data, or your posts, your pages appeared in a search result because somebody searched for something. So this is one impression. So as you produce content, you want to make sure that you're at least somewhere in the Google results. You could work afterwards. I mean, this is a new site. It's going to take some time, but if you want to get to page 1, that's going to take work, but at least start to appear. So let's go back to Search Console. So I started off with no impressions because I had no content. The website didn't exist. I launched the website. I started to appear in Google. I started more impressions. We're not talking a lot, but at least I'm appearing. And if we look here, there's a gradual rise. It's heading up. It's not spectacular. It's not major exponential growth. But again, I've only created this website pretty much a couple of days ago. I need to produce a lot more content. I really need to, work on getting up to page 1. And what you can also do here is click on position, and this tells us where where in the Google search results we appeared. So for example, let's prove this. It tells me that for, sorry, a bit awkward here, but for Sunto Movie Stick Zwift, on average, I appear in position number 9.8. So let's just check that. Sunto Move Stick Zwift. Sunto MOVSTICK Move Stick Zwift. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that, remember now it told us an average. Don't see it here. Let me go back to Search Console. Move. Oh, sorry. Oh no. Sunto SUUNTO Move Stick Zwift. SUUNTO. Okay, yeah. Oh, there it is. There it is. So I'm in position. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I don't know, about 13. Okay, but the average is 9.8. Now, it's not a great place to be, kind of halfway down page 2 in the results. It has resulted in 1 click, and what that means is, where are we here again? We're on page 2, we're here. Click means somebody spotted it, and they just clicked on it like that, and they went through the blog post. So that's what it means by a click. Now, there's some really, really important data here. So as you create content, if I decided that I wanted to be an expert in Zwift and Suunto and these actual USB keys, I should create a couple of more blog posts on this subject, so that Google sees me as being an authority on this particular subject. So it'll start to rank me better. The next article I should produce on this is, go back here to close that I did, Suunto move stick Zwift. So back on my website, let's go back to the home page. So the first blog post I did was this one here. If I edit the post, I optimized this post, and this is I'm not doing a whole lesson on the Yoast Seo here, but basically you have a focus keyword. Now my focus keyword is very broad. I've gone after Zwift, never going to rank on page 1 for Zwift, but at least it's there, it's published. What I should do the next time around is write a new article and to set the focus keyword on one of these guys. If I don't want to be an authority on this, that's fair enough. You can look at other things. So for example, I rank for dynamic hot yoga, I rank for Strava account, I rank for many different things now, and that's only from a few blog posts. Cycling gadgets, so that might be, I decide, I have a big job, I'm on position 227.3. That's going to be a lot of work. But as you publish content, this data here is vital. You might think that you're the number one authority on something, but Google might put you way down the list. So this is well worth watching out for this. What sort of terms are ranking, so that it helps you to develop a new post. And it's really handy as well if you're running out of ideas for blog posts. Well, just go in here and pick one. You could just go Zwift cycling. That could be a blog post, or you could go, I don't know, website content audit. That's that's the subject of another blog post. So do review this, not every day, but every couple of weeks, have a look at what you're ranking for, see if there's changes, and that's worth keeping an eye on. Another one worth watching in here is links to your site. So what is this? Well, these are websites that have a link back to your website. These are important from a ranking point of view. I have a few, but to be honest with you, let's just have a look at the whole lot of them. They're mostly crap. Domain tools, SEO mount, but still, they're KIYES.com. Don't know what that is. Probably some rubbish. Links to my homepage. But I'm not surprised. Again, it's only up and running a couple of days. But as you develop content and publish it on social media sites and make a bit of noise, you should start to see people linking to it. And that helps you move up search rankings as well. You're not going to move up search rankings just on content, although it is moving that way a bit. Backlinks are still important. People linking to your content, really important. It gives signals to Google that it's half interesting. Over on your Google console or your analytics, I'm not going to go through all this, but the ones I kind of take a look at myself is audience overview. What I'm looking for here, especially early days of a website, I'm looking for modest growth. So let's get rid of the last, let's see, from November the 1st, let's go for November the 1st, let's go to the end of November, apply. Okay, so I'm kind of looking for something like this here. Started off with very little traffic, started publishing content, this number of visitors to the site starts going up, starts dropping off. Well, there's a reason for this. It's kind of technical. You have to tweak things. With stupid, crappy sites out there starts linking to dodgy linking stuff, and you have to filter them out the results. So you just get a false picture here. What I mean by that is in the acquisition of traffic and referrals, I was having issues with these crappy get your social buttons.info and this copyrightclaims.org, they're known stupid sites for just rubbish referral traffic. So I've actually, so this one here, adf.ly, I've actually excluded all that. So these damn sites that really mess up your analytics when you're, especially in your early days where you have just a small number of website or visitors, but I've tweaked them anyways, I've gotten rid of them. Not covering it today, but you can Google it, how to basically filter out certain websites from your results. But do check your do check your audience overview. And don't get crazy about, oh, there's people from the US and people from doesn't matter. Early days, you just want to make sure that just put on a week here, that you're seeing over time, over a couple of months, some sort of modest growth. You could get lucky with a fantastic blog post that really takes off, and that's great. But early days, when you're just tweaking things and getting your data gathered and just getting used to the whole thing, don't, just worry about some modest growth and make sure you're comfortable with getting into Google Analytics, going to reporting, going to audience overview. Maybe take a look at acquisition and go into all traffic and go into the source, which can be interesting. So it tells you where your traffic's coming from. So mine is just, so Facebook is a good one for me, because I'm posting things there. Facebook, LinkedIn, Google Organic. That's the one you want to see coming to the top, people finding you through search. My target is to put ads on the website, so I want to see lots of traffic from Google, because then that would mean more ads and stuff that I can get some income on. So that's the basics of getting your website set up and getting it tracked through Google. Do that first, worry about Bing and all the rest. In fact, they'll worry about themselves, they'll probably find it, but make sure that your website is, you got it installed. If WordPress is a good choice. Make sure from plugins point of view you've got Yoast. From Yoast you get your XML map. Once you get your XML sitemap, go into search console, go to Google Index, crawl, go to the sitemap section here and add it. Once you do that, go to your Google Analytics, get your code, your tracking code, get to admin, then go back to your website, go to appearance and go to the editor. And what you're looking for is the header. So there it is there, header.php. And in here you look for the head, start, find the end, and just put your code just above the end. Don't change this other stuff. I don't know what it is, leave it alone. Just don't really know what that is. Leave it alone. Just put your code in there, update the file. Check it by viewing the source. And that's it, you're up and running. Just be sure to create nice content. Be sure then, after a couple of weeks, check Search Console. Make sure that your Google Seo, they're picking up your the words that you're using, the sentences, and check your Google Analytics, make sure you're tracking there, because there is no point, if you have a long-term strategy for your website, there's zero point in doing anything unless you can track visitors, what they're searching for, what content is popular, what isn't. Don't go there to waste of time considering content creation unless you've got ways of tracking and monitoring what people are doing, what they're searching for, and how the search engines see your site. It's so important. So in an upcoming post, I'll cover off the Yoast plugin more, and how to use it to create a blog post. It's really good. It's really helpful. And we'll do more maybe on Teams. And so anyways, tune in again on an upcoming video.